Welcome on into the Real Ones podcast. I'm your host, Ben Moskow. This is brought to you by Project FILO, here with Morgan Gold, Chicago singer, and also sort of an event hostess. Seems I will,
Right.
we'll find out more about that along the way. But Morgan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. It's Friday. The weather's really nice in Chicago, which is good because it was coming off of a really rainy, kind of shitty week, but everything is good.
I usually like to start these things off with just who you've been listening to recently. We do like a 5 songs that I've been listening to at the top of the show. But yeah, what's been on your rotation recently?
Trying to think of like what good music I listened to. I was just in Seattle. I really don't not a lot of titles pop into mind, but like I specifically remember listening to 070 Shake's Modus Vivendi while on the plane home, and I was looking over the mountains, and that whole the story of that album is just so beautiful, and that was like it's definitely been like fresh in my mind, that listening experience.
I wouldn't say it's a direct parallel, but I do hear a little bit of her in some of your work.
I appreciate
honestly.
That's a big compliment. She's a really big inspiration. Like her and The Weeknd, I feel like have shaped my like sort of pop direction in a sense. So that means a lot. Thank you.
I know like some of your earlier work, you're kind of doing a little more of the sing rap type stuff, and now, are you trying to take a different direction with it?
I've been going in a million different directions. Like I feel like my releases more like reflect on what just kind of feels good, like to give out. I mean, if I'm being honest, I'd say there are more songs in the vault that are in the acoustic genre, like, 'cause that's kind of where I started. So there's a lot of like stripped back acoustic songs. Two Queens was kind of a little peek into a bluesier side that I want to tap into. That's a genre that I've been singing for a really long time. I mean, the goal is to do everything. I think right now you're definitely going to see more. You're going to see me tap into like the more modern R&B like sound. That's kind of like where I'm like feeling most comfortable. But there on the back burner, there's a lot of like, I want to innovate pop. I want to be a pop pioneer. And so like what's really exciting is that I feel like I'm getting a little bit more experimental, and hopefully you'll see that within a year's time frame. And I don't know. I mean, it's weird being an independent artist because you kind of have to plan everything out yourself. So it's like, oh, what's your rollout? What's your plan? And I'm like, I'm just going to drop whatever the hell feels good. You know what I mean? And then like, we'll kind of let the story tell itself.
That's a good route to take. You definitely have a lot more artistic freedom as an independent artist. You said blues was kind of one of your first sort of explorations musically, but how did you decide to start making music? And like, you remember like maybe one of the first songs you ever made?
When I was like 10, I specifically remember having this notebook of like just like little songs that I would write. Like, it's funny. Like I started like studying the way that Elvis and the Beatles wrote their like pop hits. Those song formulas just kind of spoke to me because I was like, how did they figure out those formulas? And so I started writing like really simple, like, just 4-liners, and I would just like start, trying to figure out what makes the perfect pop song. And it was a lot of those like American pop pioneers that, kind of had me thinking, okay, what's going to be music that like speaks to people, but in a sense can still be me. And so it was kind of fun because I started writing when I was 10. And so I grew up like writing songs. And so that's kind of been the fun thing is that, now that I'm 22 and really starting to explore what I can actually do with music, it's like, cool. I got the routine under my belt, and I've learned just kind of to trust my instincts, because not everything you write is going to be great, but who the hell cares? If it's honest and it's genuine, then someone's going to recognize that.
I'm getting the feeling that you probably grew up around the area just based off of the accent. Or just like a little, people will say A's a certain way, and like, I've spent enough time around here to kind of pick up on it. But yeah, where did you grow up? Were you
I was actually born in Los Angeles. And I wish that like a little more of that had stuck with me, but like my parents moved me out of that area like right around the time I turned 4 and my memories started forming. So I grew up in Illinois. Like that's what I remember. Like Buffalo Grove, moved to Schaumburg, and then that's where I spent majority of my time. And then I moved to Chicago when I was about 16, went to Columbia. And since 2016, I've been pretty much just around like Chicago my whole life.
You say you went to Columbia. Was that for like music production? Or I know they have a great, they have all sorts of artist incubator type majors and stuff like that.
I actually went for comedy. My dream was to be a comedian. Like SNL was my favorite show growing up. And so like Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, Maya Rudolph, Kristen Wiig, those are like a lot of comedians I looked up to. And so that was like my career path for a while. I did Second City. I did a couple of their programs, but then, songwriting, guitar playing, singing, that was just those are skills. And that side of me had always just stuck around. And then by the time I just kind of reached like sophomore year, I was just like, you know what, like comedy only elicits one reaction, and that's kind of boring to me. And so I felt like with music, I was able to kind of be a little bit more free. And I could like hone in like different inspirations all at once, and I, wouldn't feel so restricted. But the two like art forms do like interweave though, which is like nice. Like I learned a lot from comedy that I probably would not like. I would not be like as good of a performer if I hadn't pursued comedy.
It seems like you're somebody who's probably very comfortable, being up on the stage. At least that's the impression I would get from, doing live shows, wanting to do comedy, and also being this co-host for this show on Sunday, Girls Night Out. And I'd love to hear just some more details on it, how you kind of put the lineup together. What was it like coordinating with the venue, and also just why, what was so important about a full lineup of female voices?
The idea was actually presented to me by No Montana Hannah, who's the co-host. And so she and I met through Overly Dedicated, which is like a concert series that I've been doing for a while now with the collectives Ever Evolved and Dog and Pony Show. She was pretty much like on that collective when I met her, and then we had performed together and started talking, came up with the idea. And she and I basically just contacted every artist that we knew that was a female. And I think we wanted to do like an all female one too, because there were a lot of shows that we had done where just, especially in like, in the hip hop genre, we felt that there weren't enough female rappers in the lineup. So we just wanted to do our own. And this is actually going to be the first of a few that we're doing. Yeah. And then I got a little puppy dog pain in my ass. But yeah, so basically like we decided on the venue through one of Hannah's connections, actually. She knew the people that were throwing it, and it's in Melrose Park.
Right.
And it's a safe spot. It's a dance studio. It's BYOB. And the people there were just all fantastic and really welcoming. And that was another really big part of why we chose that venue, was because like anytime we work with anybody, especially with venue owners, it's like we want people to feel comfortable, not just like for the performers, but for the audience. We want everyone to feel like it's a good time, because at the end of the day, it's like, the intimate audience is more of like, between 30 and 50. Those are going to be the audiences that talk to each other. And those are going to be the people that network with each other.
Right.
And so that's something that really means a lot to us, because like, that's how shit gets done. The Chicago live music scene, I'm going to argue, is right now probably the best in the country. I'm basing that claim off of the amount of times that I have performed with artists, not like formally at a venue, but these are all just shows. And I'm talking not just like 5 or 6, I'm talking in the 20s or 30s. I've done a lot of performances. 80% of them are put on by artists organizing it themselves. basement shows, house shows, people who are just renting out their own venues. And I mean, maybe it's not right of me to make that claim because I haven't gotten to like actually see the full music scene of like other cities, but there's something really special that's coming out of the music community in Chicago. And I think not only is it gonna start to like get attention, I think it's gonna start like leading some trends. I think it's about time that Chicago like fucking gets the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
Like every genre I can think of right now has some crazy shit that's coming from a Chicago artist.
Right away, the first thought is drill, having taken roots here in like early 2000s, like 2010-ish. And then,
oh yeah,
I mean, there are rappers in the UK that are doing drill and they never would have done it if it weren't for Chief Keef. And, there's stuff that's building that way in all sorts of arenas.
Well, and what's crazy is like my girlfriend, who's my audio engineer, like all of her clients are mainly drill, and they all have like a story to tell. They're crazy fucking talented, and that's what's cool like about, I think, artists kind of taking inspiration into their own hands and going more the independent route. And like even artists who are getting signed, I feel like are just starting to really think about what like the feeling that they want to get out of music, not just, the clout and the fame. That's what's nice about Chicago, is that when you really get a group of artists like to put their heads together, some shit's gonna happen. You're gonna see businesses being created, you're gonna see brands being created. And like it's cool too, because like kind of coming from someone who's only 22, the fact that we're now like all old enough to start our own shit, it really makes the dream seem like a reality. Like if anything, we're living our dreams right now. I make music at least once a week, and Jamie doesn't work except on her own schedule when she's recording people. Like that's the coolest shit in the world. And the fact that like that's all kind of going on everywhere with artists right now. I mean, shit, you're making money off of interviewing artists too, and like watching like what's going on. That's got to be a cool fucking feeling.
Yeah, no, we're starting with it. It's like I want to build as much of the platform as possible. Also, if I hear somebody, like I can tell a lot of people who they would sound good with just because of this breadth of people that I've talked to.
Yeah.
And I really value like the unique perspectives that everybody offers on this show. So it's been great.
Like to still like find ways to make what I love to do exciting. Like that's the goal no matter what. Even if I don't make money off of it, even if I like, don't end up like, having as many people hear it as I want to, as long as I still wake up in the morning and like want to pursue it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause man, like wouldn't it just suck to reach your goal and then just like say, fuck, well, I'm not happy. I'd rather never actually achieve what I want for music, but still want to do it rather than get what I want and then crash and burn.
What would you say you do want to achieve with music?
As much as possible. I got no limitations to what I want. I mean, I ultimately want to inspire and spread my music to as many people as possible. But like at the end of the day, I want to be a big influence, but I want to be a good influence as well. You know what I mean? Like I really take that seriously. Like when I make music, just because like I want like, I don't know. I feel like music's purpose is to tell stories, and stories are carried down for generations. I want to be a part of that side of music, like the shit that just gets passed down. Like look at Grateful Dead. They're big inspirations to me because of the way that they made a legacy that's still going to be like continued for at least like maybe 100 years. And you know what I mean? And that shit created families, that created clothing that's like recognized everywhere. That created like a literal tribe of like listeners. And that's so cool that music can have that effect. And I think it's what like keeps a lot of people going, is when they have like stories and kind of like, they turn their songs almost into legends. So it's like you have like a legend kind of like apply to yourself, like songs that you relate to, like that. Like I want to make people feel like that. You know what I mean? I don't want fame to do to me like what it did to Jerry Garcia, you know what I mean? Because like in those situations, it's like, they viewed him as a messiah, and that took a really big toll on him. He probably
I would think it would do that to anybody. Yeah.
it would do that to anybody, and that's why too, like, I had to be like really honest with myself, like within like the past year, and even like today, just like if you do want to have that goal of spreading music to the masses, you have to consider psychologically what that can do to a person. I think it could still be possible to have a really big influence and still keep your sanity.
And now a quick word from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by GB Mystical and GB Mastering, offering boutique recording mixes, mastering, and audio post-production at competitive rates and based in Chicago. We focus on serving our clients quickly and professionally without breaking the bank. Are you an artist trying to make their next song pop? Don't second guess. Make it sound right. Contact at GB Mystical on Instagram or check out gbmystical.com for audio examples, his original music, and more. That's GB Mystical, mystical.com. And again, most of the booking happens on Instagram. So that's GB Mystical on Instagram to lock in your mixing and mastering services today.
You're talking about how great this scene is for Chicago creatives and musicians. So how do you make sure that you're putting your best foot forward out there, like in terms of like preparation for a show?
I mean, I'm going to be quite honest. I do need to warm up my voice a little bit more, but I will say, like, what I'm really starting to get better at, I think, is just like learning how to communicate to fans, you know what I mean? And just being like, not just saying, hey, I've got a show, but like, especially now that I've got a lot going on, and, I do like, want to make a profit out of it. I want people to be there. And so it's like, I'm kind of thinking of, okay, how can I make my presentations more exciting? And so it forces me to kind of, really start to think about promotion, which is something that I've kind of lacked. So I think performing like really helps the marketing side of it. Keeping a consistent schedule too, like, cause you get a really nice rush from performing. And so like putting my best foot forward is just me always being available.
It seems that you've really done that, just in the sense that I'm looking through your feed, and you have like, here are the June show dates, here are the July show dates. It seems like, you're booked and busy, like trying to get as many performances in as possible. And, sometimes it might not matter as much like the size of the audience, but just in terms of like, you're getting out there and you're honing your craft.
Yeah. I mean, like, numbers can be something that frustrates anybody, frustrates any artist. It definitely frustrated me, but like, I don't know, like you perform at those bars and there's just like a few people in the crowd, but then it's like one of those shows where you just like, you're like, all right, there's like no pressure. I'm going to put on the best goddamn 45-minute set for these 4 people. And then it's just like, it feels like it's just you and those people in a room and nobody else exists in that universe. And those are the best shows, because it's like you have an audience, but you still kind of have that ability to really make a connection, because it's, it's those people that are just tuning into you. And after I got that feeling and I got to like really, talk to those people afterwards, you realize that like, it's easier to make a connection.
I think that's something that you kind of accept as a fan in a venue that only has like X number of people, right? You're gonna look at you're gonna get a chance to have a conversation with the performers, and that definitely, I can see how that leads to like just a better connection.
That's why it's important to go to shows too. Like, not because like the more artists that I started to meet, the more invitations that I got to go to shows, and like, I usually was like, no, like I just, but you can't expect people to go to your shows when you don't go to other people's shows. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I made more friends. I made even like stronger connections too, because I showed up for people. You know what I mean? And then that's how communities are formed. That's how then eventually it's like, oh, I came to your show, you came to my show. Let's perform together. How can we make that happen? And then it just little pods of artists start doing that. It gets bigger and bigger. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. The shows teach you how to be a performer and an audience member, and knowing how to be a good audience member is very, very, very important.
Yeah. Can't just be sitting there on your phone and all that, of course.
You gotta hype people up. You gotta know how to be there for people too, because it makes you to a better listener. Yeah. Learning how to be present. That's the perfect way to put it.
There are a lot of historic venues in Chicago. I mean, do any come to mind as like, man, I want to rock that venue one day?
Talia Hall. I'd love to do Lincoln Hall. Aragon Ballroom would be like,
oh my God, the Aragon, yeah.
That'd be a dream come true. Like a sold out Aragon Ballroom show would bring me to tears. That'd be dope. Just like all of Chicago too. Like even cooler, like Kingston Mines, if you know that venue. It's a really big blues venue by the Fullerton stop, and it's been around forever. And they almost shut down during COVID. I'm glad they didn't. That's like one of my favorite spots. But just good food, just good place to drink, and like the bands are always incredible. A lot of like, old timers who can still fucking rock a guitar solo, and just like, again, it's just like the attitude that comes from a good blues song. It just like gets the room hot, like, you know what I mean? And it's a good place. It's a good place to be. I'd love to do a set there someday with the band.
On the corner of like Lincoln, Fullerton, and Halstead, there are like 7 or 8 venues all right there.
Yeah. No, there's like one blues bar that's adjacent from it, and then there's a bar, I forget the name of it, but I performed there a few times. But yeah, it's like they're all just like these little places, and you can just like, pop from either one. That's a cool spot. I haven't been there in a bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's good, that most of the Chicago venues seem to be recovering okay. I mean, it was a long, arduous time, during the pandemic.
Yeah, no, that was a scary period. And that was too, like, I was coming off of like a lot of performances, and I know that a lot of people were getting ready for like these, big events, especially that summer coming up. And I'm like, it's really inspiring to see like a lot of artists just take the fear that COVID had on everybody, and to watch like my friends like just bounce back from it, and they're starting to conquer. Like it's really cool to watch. Because I think we need that energy. And so I think, I hopefully coming out of it, like we'll come back stronger. I know for sure, like COVID taught me a lot, like, as a person and as an artist. And when I got back on stage, like the first time after that, and I'm sure a lot of artists felt this way, it was just like, holy shit, like the world is here with me again. You know what I mean? And it's a cool feeling to have. I fucking missed it.
Never want to take that shit for granted again. Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
You've told me about like these collectives that you've been involved in. So Ever Evolved, Overly Dedicated, with the Dog and Pony Show even. So how did you end up connecting with them? How were those kind of formed for you?
If I go all the way back, I believe there was a post that one of their members, Keem, had made. And he is a singer, producer, engineer, performer that works with them. He made a post saying that he needed performers for a little show that they were doing. And I think it was like one of the first episodes of, I think it was one of their test episodes of the Greyhound, which is like a little like mini variety show that they do. This is for Dog and Pony Show.
Got it.
And again, like Dog and Pony Show and Ever Evolved are like basically one thing. They made that post. Jamie, my girlfriend, tagged me in that. And she was like, hey, you should do this. And so I reached out, and me and Keem, I guess, had a mutual connect. I don't even know how. So we did the show, and they said, hey, you should come on Dog and Pony TV. Wanted to introduce me to Scotty. Scotty Rocks, who's the creative director. And then he works with Julian, who runs Ever Evolved. That's how I met them. They invited me for the first Overly Dedicated, and then just kept inviting me. And then we eventually just kind of all got together and said, hey, we're all artists who want to make something happen. And the only way to really do that is to help ourselves all make things happen. And started a really, really good friendship and camaraderie. and we're all just kind of like a little team that's just like supporting each other, and it's cool because it's like we as artists, like, we chase fans, but like we also gotta, like, really gotta chase allies and people who are going to be in our corner and inspire us to make things happen. Because you can't do it by yourself. You gotta have good people around you, and those are good people.
Yeah, you're stronger with more numbers. There's more advocates.
Yeah, exactly.
So, kind of outlined a little bit about, the Girls' Night Out coming up, your show at Empirical Brewery as well, in late July on the 24th. What else is coming up for Morgan Gold? What else can we expect?
In August, I got a single coming out, and it's really good. So I'm really excited for that. We've been working on that for a really long time. That's going to start a whole new chapter of things. I'm not going to lie. We're all kind of going to discover where it's going to go. I've got a lot of cool stories that I want to tell, but, kind of taking it day by day as to how I want to execute it. You can expect a surprise single that I just did, and I got to stay busy. So you can just always expect something from me, really. This is going to be a long and never ending journey. So buckle up now.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we sign off here? This has been Morgan Gold on the Real Ones podcast.
Man, anything I want to say?
Artist, event hoster,
smoothie
former
maker,
comedian,
smoothie maker,
yeah,
ex-former comedian, maybe future Broadway star. I hope for at least like one show, just one show.
You know who you would want to play?
Yes, I want to play the female Harold Zidler in the Moulin Rouge Broadway stage version. I already know what I'm going to wear. I already have my outfit planned. Just give me the role, give me the budget. I'll do it. I'll put on the damn thing myself.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And if you like that Morgan Gold music, follow me at Morgan Gold Music. I'm putting that on a t-shirt soon.
Nice. Morgan Gold on the Real Ones podcast. You can hit her up IG and Twitter at Morgan Gold Music.
Thank you so much for having me, Ben. It's been a pleasure.
Morgan Gold on the Real Ones podcast. We're signing off.
That's a good one.
Gotta drive a call of mistakes. Creeping out the bends, I've been working on the days. Watch the way I step in this bitch. You know I've been with the shit. I'll do like 2 or 3 flicks, and I'ma get sick of the pictures.